Hello friends, Cowboy Joe Boo here with our first take report. Today they're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys versus the New Orleans Saints. Let's see what the resident hater, Stephen A. Smith, has to say about my Cowboys.
The 2-1 Cowboys head to New Orleans to face the winless Saints. After missing last Sunday's game at Carolina with a shoulder injury, Drew Brees said Thursday in an appearance on Ellen that there's not anything that's going to keep him off the field this Sunday. Brandon Weeden will be under center for Dallas. The Cowboys have won 10 straight on the road, but Weeden has lost 9 straight starts. Here he is.
You guys are beating a dead horse, talking about, throwing the ball underneath, but, that was our plan all along, You look back, was there a couple times I could have thrown the ball maybe out to outside receivers, given the plays that were called? There may be one or two that I could have thrown out there. But those were the matchups we liked, and that's what they were giving us in coverage. So, this week, my main focus is take care of the football. Eliminate, the bonehead play like last week, eliminate those and continue to get those completions, continue to get the ball in the guys' hands, let them, make plays after the catch. We got good explosive players, and my job is just to get the ball in their hands. Let them do work.
All right, Skip. What do you expect from Weeden in the Big Easy?
Stephen A. Smith, when I saw the soundbite we just saw as it was uttered on Wednesday, and I saw it on 6 o'clock Sports Center, I must tell you, as a Cowboy fan, worried me. My confidence flagged. It drained right out of my body because I know Brandon Weeden personally, and I like Brandon Weeden. And I can tell you that Brandon Weeden is tormented. He is getting defensive to a fault. That Brandon Weeden is capable now of second, third, and fourth guessing every decision he makes with the football Sunday night, back into that house of horrors where 2 years ago, you might remember.
Don't you hate Stephen A?
My Dallas Cowboys had suffered one of their all-time franchise nightmares. They allowed 40 first downs, record. So I don't know what to expect from Brandon Weeden. As Molly said, he's lost 9 straight starts now. But I must tell you this. This gives me a little heart as you smile with that silly smile of yours at me.
Cheshire Cat.
Shitty and grin, more like.
My Cowboys have won 10 straight, as Molly pointed out, on the road. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
And New Orleans, led by the great Drew Brees, has lost 6 straight games in that house of horrors. That's become their house of horrors now. That's incomprehensible to me. They've lost 6 straight at home? Seriously, with Drew Brees at quarterback? They have. And then I look at what Brandon Weeden has done so far this year. He's 29 of 33 for 305 yards. That is 88% of his passes he has completed. So surely he's got a little bit of confidence left in there, even though he's second-guessing himself about, should I throw it to the wide receiver or should I just check down to the tight ends or the backs? Stephen A. Smith, I have ridden this horse this far. I went on record and said, even with Brandon Weeden, even though sometimes he makes me wish that artsy-craftsy Tony Romo was at quarterback. I'd take artsy-craftsy over Brandon Weeden sometimes, I must admit. Because that second half the other day was an absolute nightmare for me that I still can't quite wrap my mind around. You scored 28 in the first half. You get outscored in the second half 22-0 at Jerry World. Thank you very much. So, I can't tell you how this is going to happen. I can't even, bless you, this is nothing to sneeze at. I can't even tell you.
You are smooth.
Yeah. I can't even tell you why this is going to happen, but I still believe in this Cowboys team on the road. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I hope Drew Brees does play with a sore right throwing shoulder. I hope he does because Luke McCown was really good the other day. He threw for 310 at Carolina. Maybe we would have a better chance against Drew Brees. I don't know, but I'm going to hang in with my Cowboys one more time until reinforcements arrive. Greg Hardy, as you know, Rolando McClain on the way after this game. 4 games will be over. I'll go Brandon Weeden 31, Drew Brees 30. That's what I'm going to say. I'm hanging in with my Dallas Cowboys.
Skip Bayless, I mean this affectionately. It's primarily as it comes specifically to the Cowboys. You're pathetic. You sit up here and make this argument like, oh my goodness, I'm so worried. but I'm hanging in there with my Cowboys.
I am.
Stephen A.
Here comes the
I
bull.
still believe in them. They're playing the Saints. I mean, all of this against Seattle or Green Bay or somebody, but they're playing the Saints. Okay, the way Rob Ryan's defense looks right now, you can get an arena football team to go against the Saints right now, and they'd give them a run for their money. Now,
Is he picking the Cowboys?
That Luke McCown looked incredibly impressive in Drew Brees' absence last week. 31 of 38.
He's always wrong.
Just one interception. I thought he played very, very well. But there's no Stills. There's no Jimmy Graham anymore. There's no Darren Sproles anymore. This team has changed. They're ranked 23rd against the pass. They're ranked like 26th against the rush. This team is a shell of what it once was a couple of years ago. And now the only interesting thing about this team is how long are they going to commit to keeping Drew Brees instead of taking him out of his misery and sending him someplace with a team that can actually play on a high level. There is nothing, absolutely positively nothing, that should be compelling about this game. The Dallas Cowboys should handle their business, even without Romo, even without Desmond, even without Hardy and Randy Gregory.
He's definitely picking us.
It's the Saints.
Wow.
You know how I feel about the Saints. I told you before the season I didn't think they were worth much. I stand by it. It's Drew Brees and then it's everybody else. And in fairness to them, it's not like I'm saying, oh my goodness, they just don't know what they're doing. No. They're in transition. Sean Payton is a Super Bowl champion coach. He's already proven what he could do. We understand all of that. But what you have to understand, only 26 players remain from the 53-man roster they had last year. They just traded some dude to the New England Patriots, all right? We know Jimmy Graham is in Seattle. We understand that they're in flux right now. It's a complete makeover. They're drafting defensive linemen and cornerbacks and stuff like that. They are just they are transitioning. They're not what they used to be. The New Orleans Saints will be lucky to win 5 games this year. It's just that simple. The only reason we don't say it too often is out of respect and deference to the great Drew Brees. It's the only reason. Outside of that, they have average players. The elite players that elevated them to another level, that scared the living hell out of you whenever you had to come down to that Mercedes-Benz Dome, they're gone. It's over. Whatever we used to love about the Saints, they are no longer relevant in a championship conversation. It's been that way for a little while. We were just hesitant to say it. The time to say it is now. So I expect Brandon Weeden to have another good game against them. I expect Lance Dunbar. I'm not saying 10 receptions for 100 yards, but I expect him to have a good game. I expect Jason Witten to have a good game. I expect Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams to have a good game. I expect Joseph Randle to run the football effectively, because it seems to me whatever you can do against mediocre defenses always is applicable to the New Orleans Saints under Rob Ryan. The Dallas Cowboys are going to win this game in New Orleans because the New Orleans Saints are not that good anymore. Now, they could shock us because the Dallas Cowboys are always capable of sticking up the joint. But if I had to bet my money, I would bet my money on Brandon Weeden. And I'll go as far as to say this, Skip. It wouldn't even surprise me if the brother ended up passing for about 350 yards plus. Because it's the Saints. It's the Saints. It's the Saints.
What the hell?
Give me a score. Are you like 45-14? Something like three touchdowns, 4 touchdowns?
Hold on, wait a minute. Drew Brees is supposed to play.
Well, that's what they said.
If Drew Brees plays, they good for about 24 to 27 points. I say Dallas gonna put up over 35 though. I really do.
Okay.
And then again, it doesn't even matter, because all I'm trying to say to you, Skip, is this. It doesn't matter whether it's their offense, it's their defense. They're not the same team. They got really good players in certain positions, but they're not a good team.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, 35-24 Dallas. That's sort of the ballpark of what you're talking about?
Okay. Ballpark.
All right, so one of two things is operating here. either you are trying to turn the tables on me and jinx this Cowboy game for me because you know how much it means to me to put one more in the bank before the schedule really turns tough because New England's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I think that's what it
Well, that
is.
ain't even worth talking about because y'all gonna lose that game.
Well, you heard it here first. Wow. But the other thing that might be happening here is you've been on kind of a negative roll with your picks this year, and so you're scaring me because you know you might just be swinging and missing, like just a big old swing and a miss.
It might be. Listen, man, I deserve that. But I would remind you that the games that I've lost this year were similar to what happened last night with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Games that should have come down in my favor, then all of a sudden stuff goes wrong. I picked the Giants to win the Falcons. They give away that game. I picked the Giants to beat the Cowboys. They got a 10-point fourth quarter lead. They give away that game. Those kind of things have happened to me. It's not like I've been off the cliff here.
All right.
My picks were coming down, and it's like they just blew it. I don't know.
Well,
it's like something.
It's an accident waiting to happen.
You are what your record says you are.
Pick my Cowboys, and they lose this game. Because, listen, Luke McCown threw a beautiful ball into the end zone to win the game at Carolina, whom you were raving about this week. And Josh Norman made a magnificent interception to save the day. And my Cowboys defense in the second half gave up 259 yards to Atlanta. Really? I hope you're right, but I think you're just trying to jinx me.
Wow. Stephen A. Smith on the Dallas Cowboy bandwagon? Say it isn't so. Say it isn't so. Have a great day, friends.